So hi, so it's Ken again. So today we're going to do something that's going to get us nice and warm. It's going to make our legs ache a little bit, but it's going to get our breath up a little bit and get us nice and warm. So let's get on with it. So we're going to work on the 8 directional stepping to start off with. So stand with your feet together. In Tai Chi, we tend to step with the left foot first. So I'm sure as I go through this, I will change to going forward to my right foot. But we tend to start with the left foot first in Tai Chi. Majority of the people on the planet are right-handed, so they tend to use the right side of the body first for everything. So in Tai Chi, we start with the left to get used to using the left side of the body to really bring the body into balance. So 8 directional stepping. So you're standing, as always, head as if suspended from above. Pelvic area is tilted forwards, hanging down. Sink the ribs to fill the lower back. Keep the hips, the knees and the ankles nice and relaxed. So just step forwards. Okay, simple enough. Then step back. Then step back. Then step back to where you started. Then we're going to go to the left. Then to the center, then to the right. It doesn't matter if you go left or right first. You can mirror me if that's easier. Okay, so we just did a plus symbol there, like a first aid addition symbol. Okay, so we're just going to walk these 4 directions, but we class the center as a direction. But we class the center as Zongting, always returning to the center. Okay, keeping nice and upright. Make sure you're not leading with the hips, not leading with the chest or the head. Keeping nice and upright. Keep the pelvic area hanging down plumb. So step forwards. And back to the center, and back. And back to the center, then to the side, to the center, to the side, to the center. So just walking these 5 directions, because again the center is a direction. Walking these directions, keeping nice and upright. And you're not doing like massive stepping here. You're not doing massive steps. You're kind of shuffling. You're sinking and just pushing out. Sinking and pushing out. Sinking and pushing out. Sinking and pushing out. So keep this going. Just doing these steps. There's steps. Doing these steps. Keeping nice and upright. And always bringing the other foot up to it, but not committing any weight to it. Always bringing the other foot up, but not committing any weight to that foot. Center. Back. Center. So just doing these 5 directions. Keeping nice and upright. Moving, keeping your good posture. If you've worked on the other films with me, then you know that we keep nice and upright at all times. We're not fighting gravity by leaning to the sides, just feeling gravity pulling down through us. So keep the pelvic area hanging down plumb. Really relaxing the hips, Just doing these steps. These 4 steps. Or these 4 directional stepping. Okay? So now take your plus symbol and just turn it to the side ever so slightly. So now you have an X, like a multiplication symbol. X marks the spot. X marks the spot. And we're going to walk these 5 directions now, because again, the center is classed as a direction. So we're going to go to the front. I'm going to go to my front right prong first. So step up, then back to the center. Then I'm going to go to my rear left prong, then back to my center. Front left prong, back to the center. Rear right prong, back to the center. We're just walking these 5 directions, because again the center is classed as a direction in Tai Chi. Okay, walking these directions, keeping the pelvic area hanging down plumb. And again, always bringing the other foot up, but not committing any weight to it. Always bringing it up, sinking down. Feel the natural shock absorbing properties of your legs. So sinking down, and you can roll into the foot when going forward, heel to toe. When stepping backwards, you roll into the foot, toe to heel. Always try to roll down the middle of the foot. Keep the knees in line with the toes, so you're not twisting your knees. And when stepping forwards, the knee goes no further forward than your toes. Okay. And when stepping backwards, the sacrum tucked under, tailbone points towards the floor, goes no further back than the center of the calf muscle. Walk in these directions, keeping the chest sunk. You're not leading with the chest, you're not leading with the hips, you're not leading with your head. You're leading with that ball in your belly, the area that's about 3 fingers below the belly button and in the center of the body. So moving from your center, that area that we call the dantian in Tai Chi. Walking these 5 directions. Walking these 5 directions. Okay, this is a nice warm-up as well. Nice warm-up exercise. And there are you can use these for the martial arts side of Tai Chi as well. You can kind of add punches. It's just nice stepping, really loosening up the hips, getting the body warm, getting the breath up. Okay, so we'll come back to them. Okay, so now we're going to do the ways of moving your upper body using your legs. Moving your upper body using your legs. Okay, so we're going to do it in this shoulder width stance here, and we're going to do it in a bow stance as well. Okay, so 3 major ways of moving the upper body. So I want you to imagine like the upper body is now like a cylinder, like a fire hydrant, like a tin of beans, and your legs are just going to move the upper body. So we're not really going to use the arms in this. Just let your arms hang down by your side. Keep the tongue on the roof of the mouth, head as if suspended from above, sink the chest, round the back. Always keep a small gap underneath your armpits. Even when the arms are close to the body, at least let the air be able to get to your armpits. Pelvic area is tilted forwards. So the 3 major ways of moving the upper body. So we have up and down, up and down, hello, 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 up and down. Sinking straight down, knees along the toes. You're not sticking your bum out, you're not curving in the lower back, you're not flaring the ribs out, you're not sticking the chest out, you're not letting the head hang forward. Just up and down, straight up and down. Sitting down. Sitting down. We're doing that in the center here, so you can do that on each leg as well. Up and down, sinking down. When the leg is at its fullest, have more weight towards the rear of the foot. We've talked about the 2 triangles. We divided the feet into 2 triangles. Triangle from the ankle to the heels, to the balls of the feet, from the ankle to the balls of the feet to the toes. 2 triangles. When the legs at its fullest, have about 70% of the weight going down through the triangle at the rear of the foot, 30 through the triangle at the front of the foot, and softening the instep, so sinking down. And you feel as you're coming up, I say that 70-30, you're coming up, you feel that pump. You're kind of rolling from the heel towards the toe and then the toe towards the heel, so you're activating that pump of the connective tissue along the soles of the feet, the plantar fascia. Then over on the other leg, so up and down, knee along the toes, sitting down. As you sink down, the knee goes forwards, the hip goes backwards. The knee goes forwards, hip goes backwards. You have a straight line down from your earlobe down through the center of the foot, pretty much. Softening the insteps. Watch for your structure buckling as well. Maybe if you sink down, the lower back does curve in, the bum does stick out, the ribs do flare out, the chest does stick out, the head goes forward. You want to make sure that you're just going straight up and straight down, not doing any of those. Okay, so we have those up and down movements. Okay, so we have side to side movement as well. Side to side movement. Just moving side to side. Try not to lean here, not leading with the head, not leading with the shoulders, not leading with the chest, not leading with the hips. Just sinking down. Try to keep the hips and the shoulders parallel to each other and parallel to the floor. So really relax in this area, floating across this area that we call the Kwa in Tai Chi, the energy gate. Moving from side to side, feel the natural shock absorbing properties of your legs. Okay, so you have side to side, and then you have rotation. So rotating that cylinder using the legs. Keeping it in the center for the moment, so you have a straight line down from the top of the head, the point we call the Bai Huai point, down to the midpoint in between your 2 feet. You have an acupressure point in the center of your feet called the Yong Chen point, the bubbling well point, acupressure point associated with your kidneys. Draw a straight line from the center of each foot, or across to each foot, and you're dead in the center of that. Straight down from the top of the head down to the midpoint in between those 2 points. Rotating, really relaxing the hips. You can imagine that the pelvic area is like a bowl of fruit or a bowl of water, and you don't want to tip any of that fruit out or spill any of that water out. So keeping it nice and balanced. Okay, so in the center then, over one leg. Rotating that cylinder. Make sure you're not twisting your knee. Really relaxing the hip, this rotator cuff here. Keeping nice and upright. Okay, and then on the other leg, rotating. Really feel the inner workings of your body here. The inner feeling of the working of the body is called interior section. So feel all the bones. It's important that the bones rotate when they're weight bearing, when you're moving. Feel that rotation of the bones. You're not putting excessive amount of pressure onto any of the joints, especially the knees. Sinking down, that straight line down from the earlobe down through the center of the foot, nice and upright, as if suspend from above, pelvic area hanging down, plumb from that suspension from above. So we've kind of done this in waist turning exercises in previous films. Okay, so you have that rotation in the center next leg. Okay, so that's up and down, side to side, and rotation. So we do that in a bow stance now, a gong bu stance. So just step forwards and in. I'm narrowing the stance a little bit here. You can do it at shoulder width here, but I'm going to narrow the stance a little bit. Here. Toes pointing straight forwards, rear foot at a 45-degree angle to that front foot. Okay, so we have up and down. So get yourself in the center between the 2 foot. Have pretty much a 50-50 divided the weight between both legs. But in Tai Chi, this class is a major fault, the fault of double weightedness. So You can have, say, 51% of the weight on the rear leg, 49% of the weight on the front leg. So the rear leg is 51, so yang, substantial. The front leg is yin, insubstantial. And we just have up and down, up and down. Really relax in the hips. Make sure the bum doesn't stick out. I'll give you a side view. I'll give you a side view. So you're going up and down. I'll give you a side view this way. You're going up and down, up and down. So make sure the structure isn't buckling. You're not curving in the lower back. You're not flaring ribs out. You're not sticking your bum out. Sticking the chest out, not letting the head hang forwards, keeping nice and upright, just going straight up and down. It's really relaxing. Sitting down, sitting down. Okay, then onto the rear leg. Just going up and down, up and down. So again, you're activating that pump, the connective tissue along the soles of the feet, rolling from heel to toe. Just going straight up and down. You're not transferring the weight of the body from one leg to the other leg. Just going straight up and down. Off for the moment, down, up and down. But you feel yourself activating that pump, the connective tissue along the soles of the feet, so rolling heel to toe, pumping, then toe to heel. Then in the front leg, up and down. Make sure the bum doesn't stick out here, the lower back's okay. Relax in your hips, sink the ribs, move the ribs towards the lower back. Feel that space between the bottom of the ribs and the top of the hips, really lengthen it. And really feel yourself again moving from that ball in there. Knee stays on the toes, up and down, up and down. So that's in the front leg, in the back leg, and in the center. So now we have. So we're not going side to side, we're going forwards and backwards here. Make sure the front knee goes forwards in line with the toes and no further forward than the toes. Sacrum sucked under, tailbone points towards the floor, goes no further back than the centre of the calf muscle. So we worked on this in a previous film as well, in the 6 exercises of Wang Xing Zen. I'll put a link to it up here. Put a link to that one. Up in this one. Keeping nice and upright. Make sure you're not doing this. You're not leaning. Keeping nice and upright. So really feel the pelvic area hanging down plumb. Rolling down the middle of the feet, activating that pump, rolling between the bases of those two triangles. Okay, forwards and backwards. Then we have rotation. So in the rear leg, rotating. So you can have a slight up and downward movement here. No, we've already done that, haven't we? So we'll keep on the same plane here. Keep on the same plane. So just rotate, just really relax in the hips. Ever such a slight up and down movement, I suppose. But don't exaggerate it. Don't exaggerate it for them. Okay, in the front leg, rotating, and really engage in what you're doing here. This is not mindless exercise. We're really trying to work, as I said, on that interior section. So make sure your mind isn't wandering away into just thinking, oh, when's this going to be done? This is boring. Let's get on with something more interesting. If you truly engage in this, you can't be bored if you truly engage in the moment in what you're doing. Boredom is usually thinking about what's to come or what you've done or kind of past experiences, something like that. So make sure you truly engage. You're in the, what they call in the zone, in the flow, in the moment. Truly engaged in what you're doing, really feeling what's happening. Totally mind, body, moment connected. Rotating in the front leg. Hanging down. There's lots to be learned when you do truly engage in what you're doing in the moment. And in the center, rotating. Just really relax in the hips. This is the hips, the pelvic area, one of the areas where we do tend to hold on to a lot of tension. A lot of the stresses of life will manifest themselves as physical tension in this area. Really restricting, limiting your movement. And these can be stresses from years ago. They say we hold on to a lot of childhood trauma. In the hips and the pelvic area, manifesting itself as tension, even when you don't necessarily remember the things that cause that tension, a habitual tension you're still holding on to. Okay, so we have up and down, forwards and backwards, and rotating. Okay, so we do that on the other side, so just turn around to the other side. So you have the other foot forwards now. So we have in the center, or 59 or 51 to 49, just up and down. So I really kind of struggle in this. This is an orthodox stance in boxing. It's a left foot forward orthodox stance. I really struggle in this one. I damaged my ankle many years ago. Making great progress with it, but it doesn't work the same as my left foot. I'm not going to say as well. It works differently. I've kind of learned to use that to my advantage. Up and down, up and down. But if I'm not careful, the kind of tension from there will replicate itself up through the body. In the rear leg, up and down. So if I'm not careful on this one, my knee will collapse in because of the ankle. Make sure the knee stays on the toes, just up and down, up and down. Make sure, and again, the ribs don't flare out. doing this. You're not sticking the chest out. Sink the ribs to feel that. Sink the chest around that back. Feel like the ears being pulled back, pulling the neck against the collar of the shirt. Keep the jaw parallel to the floor, lifting, feeling as if suspended from above, feeling with the head. Up and down in the front leg. Up and down. And again, truly engaging on what you're doing, in what you're doing here. Mind is not wandering away. You're not following any shiny thoughts like a magpie chasing a piece of silver foil. Keep totally engaged in what you're doing, mind and body. Breathing. And if you do notice your mind wandering away into thinking, just bring it back. Just keep bringing it back. That's when you really start to get the meditative aspect of the things we're doing here, moving meditation. So front leg, back leg. Did we do the center? Up and down in the center. Up and down. And then we have forwards and backwards. Forwards and backwards. Again, make sure the front knee goes forwards along the toes, no further forward than the toes. Sacrum tucked under, tailbone points towards the floor, goes no further back than the center of your calf as well. And again, activating that pump as you roll between the bases of those two triangles. So feet. That pump of the plantar face. Just pushing the cylinder, moving it, moving that cylinder. Okay, so that's up and down. Did we do rotate? No, we didn't do rotate, did we? So rotating, rotating. Again, stay, you're not bobbing up and down here, you're not bobbing up and down. Stay on the same level, so really relaxing the hips. Make sure you're not twisting your knee. So we have quite a bit of rotation in the hip, in this rotator cuff here, rotator cuff, the name suggests. The ankle rotates a fair bit. The knee can rotate, but you don't want to get into the habit of rotating the knee. Rotating in the front leg. Rotating, so really empty, dropping the weight onto that front leg. Feeling the strength of the earth behind the movements. Really feels up. Turning that ball in the belly. Turning that ball in the belly, pushing down and out of the leg with that ball in the belly. So feel the connection between that ball in the belly and the very center of your foot and the top of the head as well. In the center. In the center, rotating. Really relaxing hips. Really feel all the connectivity of this area. Turning exercises here, not in this. Okay, and you put all them together and you get all the movements of the body, up and down, this rotation around, all this movement, yeah, all this movement. Okay, so we're going to do the stepping again. We're going to bring the stepping back into it. So standing in the center, like you stood in the center of a big plus symbol, like a first aid symbol. Okay, so you're going to walk forward, step forwards with the left foot, back to the center, step back to the center, to the side, back to the center. So there, you should feel a little bit different after doing the up and down, the rotation, and the side to side, forwards and backwards movement. Should feel a little bit different. You should feel more relaxed in the area. The legs should feel springy after you, because those exercises we just did, they are quite demanding. So by going through them, you tire yourself out and you let go of that unnecessary tension that you're holding on to. You just can't be bothered to hold on to it. Okay, so this is the plus. So we're going to add the X now. So to the front right diagonal, back to the center, to the rear left diagonal, back to the center, to the front left diagonal, to the rear right diagonal, front right, back to the center, rear left, back to the center, front left, rear right. Then bring the plus back into it. Plus, keeping nice and upright, make sure you're not leading with the hips, keep the pelvic area hanging down plumb, back to the X. So now you're walking like a Union flag. Like the George Cross. Not this one, this is the Cross of St Andrew, isn't it? So the George Cross. And then the Cross of St Andrews. Walking like a Union flag. There's 8 directions, or 9 directions if you class the centre as the direction as well, as we do in Tai Chi. Walking these directions. Again, get your quite warm. Get you quite warm. Get your breath up a little bit. Your cardio stuff here. A lot of people say there's a lot of cardio missing, or cardio is missing in Tai Chi. That's the Western concept of what you have to do to get a good exercise for the heart. You can work the heart by standing still. It's just a perception thing. So that's the 8-9 directional stepping, just an extra one for you. So I want you to imagine now that you're stood on the center bar of like a letter H, like a helicopter landing pad, and we're going to walk these 5 directions now. So you stood on, and you're always going to be stepping into this shoulder width stance, okay? And you're always going to be facing in to the H. Keep it nice and upright. I'm going to step to my front left prong first. You can mirror me here and step to your front right prong if you want to, but sink onto the leg here, step through like this. And back to the center. So I'm going to go to the other side to step through. And around, really relaxing the hips. You're not leading with the hips, back to the center. Step back, rear prong here. So you see what I did there? I kind of sunk onto this leg and I turn my waist. So I'm getting that rotational movement there. Rotational, relax the hips and just push that foot back. Push that foot back and then step through. Back to the center. So go to the other side. So sink for this rotation. So sink it down, up move, or down movement and rotational movement. And 3. Back to the center, so front prong, back to the center, front prong, back to the center, rear prong, back to the center, rear prong, back to the center. I'm just walking these directions now. Shuffling, so again, not big steps. Shuffling, moving from the center, compressing and levering the legs out. Keeping nice and upright. So like a dance move. You kind of have like a nice martial applications as well, nice takedowns. Somebody strikes you, you take them down. Strike, you take them down. Keeping a good center of gravity, a good connection with the ground. And I tend to go too fast here if you are just learning this, so I'll slow this down. Slow this down. Always returning to the center. So we can finish there. You could finish on some breathing if you want. Let's finish on some breathing. Just bring the energy down, bring the chi down, breathing in. And breathing out. Feel as if your feet are sinking into the ground. Keeping a nice upright tongue on the roof of the mouth. Breathing in. And breathing out. Sinking down. Breathing in. You really have the feeling you're breathing. You can even have a feel here, breathing in. Breathing. Contagious. You want anybody? Breathing in. And breathing out. I always do like to try and balance something that's more yang. It's not hard, but it's kind of faster. Always balance it with something yin. Something slower, softer. So we get the yin and the yang, which is not the name of this symbol. This symbol is called the Tai Chi. It's just the yin and the yang and the 2 sides of it together to make up the whole, the supreme ultimate, which is Tai Chi. Okay, so we can finish there. So give it a practice. It's really good footwork, really good footwork. As I said, it gets your breath up, it gets your heart rate up. Yeah, and it makes you feel good as well. So I will see you in the next film. So bye for